It doesn't say we are. There we go. We're live. Hey, everyone. It is Lisa Danforth, and I am here with the beautiful Betsy Clark. I can't wait for her to share her brilliance with you. She has so much. We could talk for hours, just so much brilliance. I can't wait to jump in. So, Betsy, thank you so much for showing up today and sharing all of your knowledge and your experience with us.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. We could talk till the cows come home.
We definitely could. But so I want to jump right in so that you can share as much as you can with the audience, but also answer all of their questions. Before we jump in, I would love to read just a little bit about Betsy so you know where she's coming from and her brilliance. So Betsy is a mindset chaplain, and she has been a successful entrepreneur for 43 years. I love the fact that it's more than me. Thank you, Betsy, for that. Her mission is to help women to let go of feeling like an imposter and struggling with perfectionism. Anyone here ever struggle with perfectionism? My hands up. She breathes life into women's businesses and helps them leverage and monetize their unique brilliance, supporting women to live more fully, focusing on their need to quiet the mind chatter so that they can hear the whispers of the heart. I love that, Betsy. Betsy's tagline is "Your mindset matters," and she is just an absolutely beautiful human being. I'm thrilled to have her joining us today. Thank you very much, Betsy.
You know what? It is so much fun to be here. You and I have known each other for a while, and it feels like we are old friends because we get into these conversations and they are juicy. So it's my delight to be here. It is wicked early in the morning here, and I'm just thrilled that I was able to show up and not have bedhead. So there you go.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right. We had a problem with Facebook, but it looks like we're live right now. Again, I want to jump right in because, again, we could just talk about anything for several hours, but comparison, the thief of joy. Where would you like to start with sharing?
Well, first off, that is a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. And I absolutely love that because, you know, comparison is insidious. It is rampant in our culture, and it isn't even on our radar. It isn't even on our radar. Go ahead.
It's the lens through which we see and experience life. It's like we don't even recognize that it's there. I so agree with you, which is so dangerous.
Well, it is because we don't know what it costs us. Good morning, Kate. Payne. And Kathy, hey, Kathy, what fun. Oh my gosh, it's Old Home Week here.
I know, exactly.
But here's the thing is we don't understand what comparison is costing us. And what I love to do is I love to talk to women about leadership. And how can you be a leader worth following instead of always trying to copycat someone else? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a speaker? I hope you haven't, but many of us have. You see a speaker who is saying, "I'm really excited to be here today."
Period.
And you're going, wait a second, I'm getting serious mixed messages here. How often do we say, oh, well, you know, I'm a leader in my industry? Well, you can just read it all over that this woman does not feel like a leader. She doesn't even know what a leader is, much less how to be a leader. Because we're always comparing ourselves. We never know what is going on in someone else's life. Ever.
Grass is always greener, right?
Right. And we always compare our behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reels. That's why I love social media. I love this platform. And the caution is, and I know this is offensive, but I'm going to put my neck on the block. I call it fake book and Instagram.
I love that. I believe it's true that, and I mean, how many of us know people who are struggling behind the scenes, but all of their images are of joy and happiness. And I think that is, we get caught up in that image, and it's just to our detriment, definitely.
Well, and we're always feeling less than. Mm-hmm. We're always feeling less than because we know that we have bedhead. Morning, Peter. We know we have bedhead, but every time we see this person, they're impeccable, you know? And so I love it when like Mel Robbins will get on with her mouth guard and do a Facebook Live or something on Instagram. I'm going, yes, Mel, I love you. What about showing who we really are and being okay with that.
You're making me think. I'm actually working with a branding person, and one of the titles, and she was talking about the same exact thing. We no longer want that perfect image, because then we feel like we're comparing ourselves to that person. How can we work with them? And what we came up with for me is really showing up as your authentically awkward self, and not just bring your bits and pieces to work. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, is we need to show all of us so that everyone else can feel comfortable to step forward and do the same. And that's to me true leadership.
Well, authenticity and transparency, I know that those are overworked words, but at the end of the day, that's the truth. That's someone you can follow, because there's nothing worse than choosing a path and halfway through you feel tricked because what was presented in the beginning isn't delivered upon. That's a problem.
Absolutely. And how do we move past that as the person who is following down that path? Can you give some tips, tools, or insights when we see that we've gone down? We're like, wait a minute, this isn't exactly what I had signed up for.
Okay, so this is where finding your voice and what are your values?
Mm.
I think understanding what your values are. Let me give an illustration. I have been an artist for 35. I'm still an artist, but I'm not expressing it the way I used to. And so my top value is beauty. And so I had a client who just decided not to pay me $6,000 after I delivered the program. I'm like, what? And so I went and I talked to a lawyer. What was my recourse? And I went back and reported to my husband, and I said, Archie, you know what? This could get really ugly. As soon as the word ugly came out of my mouth, I knew I was not in alignment. Mm-hmm. And I forgave her the debt. Now, my clients that are listening to this don't even consider it. I've got
Things have changed.
Things have changed. But honestly, if I had pursued that, mm-hmm. what would it have cost me to be out of integrity of what my values are?
It was the pause. The pause allowed you to really see and make a choice in alignment with who you are, with your values, and not only that, but who you want to be in the moment, what you want to feel. I love that.
Well, who you be.
Who you be.
Live in a place of who we be. And that's what, my coach, Laura Gisborne, always says, who you be. And I think we get stuck in the doing and the having. That's having. I say it with my New England accent. It's having. What is it? How do you say that word? Anyways.
But I'm from New England. So.
Okay, so having. So how about we just stay in the being and let the doing flow organically from who we be, so that we have what we desire. We truly, that's in alignment. Because if you've ever gotten something like you've really been working for it and you get it and you go, wait, what was that all about? Because at the end of the day, we didn't reflect and check in with our values. Does this matter? My husband and I just got a camper about 5 years ago. We got camper creep. We ended up getting a bigger camper. And that's where our energy, our resources are going, because now we have grandbabies. That's money well spent, because it's about experience, as opposed to, I love cars. I love convertibles, but I am not going to get a convertible because it isn't in alignment with my values. Plus my husband is a redhead. Why would I do that? So, like these, it sounds silly and you're going, Betsy, you're on a rabbit trail. Yes, I am. But values matter. Some of us just get crossways because we don't know what our values are.
And it is hard. It can be hard to dig deep and really figure out what they are. I always say our vision is where we're heading. Our values are how we get there. So that when we are at a crossroads, when we have a difficult decision in front of us, when we pause and really look at, is this in alignment with my values, and literally connect to each one of them, I think that's huge. I want to talk a little bit further about this, but first I just want to give a shout out to Kathy Keegan, Kate Payne, Doreen Morin Van Dam, Marie Tem, Skeeter. Thank you so much for everyone for joining and just participating in this conversation. If you have some questions, please post them so that the brilliant Betsy can answer the question. But okay, so I think it's important. Yes, just live. It's more about who you be, and your values are important. What else can people do to lean into this? I think so many people say, well, you just need to be who you be. Get clear, just get clear on what you want. Not always, it's very simple, but it's not always very easy. And I believe we can get tripped up. Could you share with us some skills or some tools or some mindset components that would support us in making these changes?
Okay, so one of the things, and this, I wish I was the originator of this, is Mel Robbins's high five habit. I've been an athlete my whole life. I've been an athletic coach. I've been a diet coach, a color coach, a mindset chaplain, all these things about coaching. And I love when my family runs races, marathons and all that sort of stuff, because I'm that idiot that's a mile from the finish line and I'm high-fiving all these strangers. Like I'm like, it gets my endorphins going. It's like, yeah, encourage them. Come on. Now you got this. And you know who the last person in the world I celebrate and congratulate on a regular basis is?
Mhm.
Is myself. And so I just jumped in with both feet, both hands high, and I got my hand outlined on my mirror. And inside that, I have you do you.
Oh, can you repeat that just so that we can really drive that one home?
Okay, I outlined my hand on my mirror off to the side so it didn't get in my face.
Like in your bathroom where you go all the
In
time.
my bathroom, first thing in the morning, and the last thing, every time I brush my teeth, I give myself a high five and I say, you do you. I give you permission to you do you. See, here's the thing is, if nothing else, I want women or your listeners to give themselves permission,
Mhm.
give themselves grace to love, accept, and forgive yourself.
Unapologetically.
Unapologetically. So many of us are looking for external validation. The only person who can rescue you is you.
Right. And then it's not, I just had a call with a client yesterday, same thing. Everything was external. So therefore she's not in control. And that is a very difficult way to go through life. But we are sort of taught that, especially as young girls, right? To not really need too much, to constantly be giving. I just want to say, Betsy, you shared something last week about blinders and staying in your own lane with regard to this topic. You want to go a little bit further in that, Betsy? And then also, Kathy says, love this. High five.
Well, I'm glad that Kate was in that conversation because I'm going, that might have just fallen out of my mouth.
Downloaded it, right? Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've just been asked to do something that's very different than what's on, that's in accordance to my vision. And the truth of the matter is, I have a certain skill set. I have strengths that align with this calling. It's an unremitting purpose that has not gone away for ages. I lost my soul in business. I was 25 years old, and it took a long time to forgive myself about that. And my vision and my cause and my calling is to help women find their voice and not lose their soul in business. Because then when that happens, we are positioned to be powerful leaders who are worth following. And just because you say you're a leader doesn't mean you're a leader. You got to have people who are following you. But do you understand what your leaders need or what your followers need? Because we think, as a leader, I need to work on myself. Well, yeah, you got to get things in alignment, your strengths, your values, your vision, your cause. And you have to have an awareness of who is going to follow and help you. We were never designed to do this alone.
No, I so agree with you. And what I want to tie this back to is sort of the intro. It's not being perfect. It's not showing up as perfectionism. Go with possibility, because perfectionism gets in the way of probable. So then if we have to be that perfect leader, it's absolutely impossible.
Well, it's a setup.
Yeah.
Perfection is it's a cruel taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't exist. I mean, here's the deal. I love to tell my clients, you are flawsome.
I love, you always have the words. What do you call yourself? Like the word
I'm
master
the
or
word nerd. I'm the
word nerd?
because here's the thing is you're flawed. And in addition, not but, and in addition, you're awesome.
Mhm.
Welcome to humanity.
That's
Right?
bringing the whole human to the table, right? We have successes, we have failures, we have flaws, and we have wonderful things about us. But bringing our whole selves to the table allows us to release the grip of comparison. That is the thief of joy, as you're saying.
It is. It's the struggle. Here's the deal. When this struggle ends, when gratitude begins, can you be grateful for what you bring to the table? Can you be, and I help my clients understand, what do you need? Well, no, let's not talk about that because I don't want to be needy. I don't want to be high demand. I don't want to, all that sort of stuff. But here's the thing is, if we want to have a sustainable life of juiciness and flow and abundance and joy and bounty and blessing, we have to understand what we need.
Mhm.
That's what sustains us. That's what keeps us juicy on the inside. I'm 67 years old. I am a juicy old crone. I am not going anywhere
I love you.
a long time because you know what? I'm juicy on the inside.
We do have to know what we want, and you want to be juicy, right? You don't necessarily want the perfectionism. Until we know what we want or have a very near direction, we won't know how to go about getting it. But again, it does start with that being. Who do we want to be? What is it that we want? And then the other just naturally unfold. So you've got a lot of comments going on here, Betsy. You've got a lot of conversation. Are there any questions that any of you have? Because we've got a couple more minutes here. Let's jump into one more thing. Again, if there's a question, please throw it out there. Or if you're watching this on the replay, post in the comments and we'll tag Betsy. Make sure she jumps back in.
Okay.
But what else? What other brilliance would you like to share? What other tools or skills would you be willing to share with the audience?
This wasn't what I was thinking about, but I just want to speak directly to you today, those who are listening, whether it's now or as a replay. If you are doing this alone, I am going to encourage you to find a coach, a mentor, someone who you can draft behind. Here's what I love. Have you ever noticed geese? They always fly in a V and they're drafting behind each other and they're going, wah, 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 wah. They're encouraging each other, right? And when the lead goose gets tired, it goes to the back and someone else takes the leadership. Get in a mastermind, get in a group, get in with a crowd of people who are going to honk you to success. Really, it's the truth. I mean, my son was a cyclist and he leads trips all over the world. And when he gets tired, he lets someone else take the lead so he can draft behind them. And so find someone, excuse me, that you can draft behind, who you trust, who is a leader worth following, so that you can emulate them in a way that is true and authentic to you. Because I said it before, we were never designed to do this alone. We need community. And I just get so concerned about that solopreneur who is doing everything by themselves. It is exhausting.
And making it look perfect, right?
Well, it's a perfectly slow process if you do it alone.
It is. And if you look at the stats on loneliness, especially now, through COVID, through the pandemic, it's appalling and it's actually very deadly. So I would definitely invite you, as Betsy said, to reach out, invite people to connect. Maybe, there are other people who are going to be busy, but at least put yourself out there. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Someone says no. All right, Skeeter Austin, me too. Juicy and an old crone. Thanks, Skeeter. I absolutely love it. All right, we are just about at time. I would love to ask one question and then see where people can find you if they would like to reach out, because we know that they're going to want to. But what one habit, skill set, mindset, whatever it might be, has supported you in living and leading sustainably in your life and business?
I'm getting choked up. I always do the high five, you do you. And then I say, I am enough. I do enough. I have enough.
Beautiful. Thank you. Hit rewind on that one if you want to hear it, because it was just so absolutely powerful. Betsy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your brilliance, your joy, your juiciness with all of us. Where can people find you? Is there a social platform that you would prefer that they reach out on? Or do you have an offer that you would love to invite people to?
I have an offer that I would love to invite people to. Sorry, I'm getting too close to the camera. I have these grace cards. And yay! And you know what? It's power with grace and it's leads with grace. And these are really good reminders to have in your life. What does grace look like? It's giving yourself a break, whether you deserve it or not. Grace is given liberally and freely. How about you start with you?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go to my website and I will mail those to you. And it's coach2strengths.com. And it's coach, the number 2, and then strengths.com. And I will send these to you. And you know what? If you want extras, let me know. I give these out liberally when I go to the grocery store, the post office. We all need grace. And I feel like it's an act of kindness. So that's what I would love to offer. And if anybody wants to have a further discussion, they can reach me on my website.
I have this on my computer, right in front of my computer, so I can see it all the time. Show some grace. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Next week, we have Kathy Keegan from Kathy Keegan Coaching. She's going to be talking on Wednesday, April 6th. I cannot believe we're almost in April, at 10 a.m. She's going to be talking about atomic habits and the power of compound interest with our actions over time. Absolutely makes things exponential. So please be sure to tune in next Wednesday, April 6th at 10 a.m. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, if you have questions or if you're watching it on the replay, please post replay, #replay in the comments, or post your questions so that we can answer them. Thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate you showing up, Betsy. I know it's early for you. Bye.